This is the High Desert Luthiery podcast with band Turquoise Steel.
Joining me today is local Albuquerque band Turquoise Steel. I'm very happy that the guys were able to take some time so we could all get to know one another. And as I've said a few times before at this point, taking the time to get to meet everyone involved with the show is damn near impossible when you're juggling schedules around work and life and all of that stuff. So this podcast is a wonderful way to make that happen. And it was great to see their faces, get to learn their names, get to hear what inspired them. This band's only been around like 2 years, and half of the band is new musicians, like brand new musicians. And the recordings they've shared with me are tremendous. They'll start releasing some of their music on Spotify really soon, and I'll probably be sharing that on our Instagram page, High Desert Luthiery. I'd really appreciate it if you're listening, if you can follow through and follow High Desert Luthiery on our Instagram page. Thanks to Turquoise Steel for taking the time, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Welcome to the High Desert Luthiery Podcast. I'm Perry from Unga Guitars and the creator of the High Desert Luthiery Invitational, or HDLI for short. The HDLI is a small trade show that'll happen twice a year, June and December, and is a celebration of luthiers, luthier-adjacent creators, musicians, and the art that comes from combining all these things. The HDLI supports the music community by providing free booths to the vendors and free admission to the public. All the participating vendors and musicians are curated by me to create a cohesive, organized event. The HDLI encourages community and collaboration amongst the artists. This podcast is one way to encourage that collaboration and help us all get to know one another. To learn more about the show and the artists, please visit our website, highdesertluthiery.com. To listen to more episodes of the podcast, please visit our YouTube channel, High Desert Luthiery Podcast. Joining me today on the High Desert Luthiery Podcast is Turquoise Steel. How you guys doing?
Doing well. Great.
Right on. So, John, I have talked to you on the phone. I don't know anybody's names. You guys want to introduce yourself, starting with the white cowboy hat?
Yeah, so I'm Malachi and I play lead guitar.
Okay.
I'm Mike and I'm the drummer.
All right.
I'm John, lead vocals, guitarist. I guess you could say lyricist.
I'm Brent, I'm the bassist.
I really like your name. Tough enough, and it's regional. You could really be a number of things with that, and I feel like that it really lends to your style of music. And I think the range of like the videos that you guys have available, and then some of the recordings that you shared with me that you guys are working on, we were just like, wow, these guys are solid. You guys sound like a well-seasoned band to me.
You know, obviously it's a learning experience for all of us, but, you know, when we kind of find that pocket, we're all, you know, really jamming and really feeling the music. That's what it's about, you know. And a lot of times I'll think back to our beginning. This was before Brent started playing with us. It was, you know, probably during the COVID era. You know, Malachi was really, really embracing the guitar at that point. You know, I think that's when he was really starting to find his way with the guitar playing. And, you know, we wanted to include Elias, and kind of naturally he just fell into being our drummer. So I remember going to Guitar Center, you know, like, again, it was during COVID. I don't know if you remember this, but we had to, you know, order online, and we had to, you know, stand 6 feet apart, wait in line to pick up our order. So we, you know, picked up this electronic drum set, and, you know, we're all excited because, you know, we have a drummer now, you know, or like, you know, getting it all set up. And at the time, you know, we were playing a lot of Guns N' Roses. We had his drum set up and running, and, you know, he's just, you know, this is probably one of the first times you got in front of Kit. And so he's just kind of trying to figure out his, you know, hands from his feet and just kind of doing his own thing. And so he's doing his thing. And then Malachi is over here in the corner trying to play Sweet Child of Mine, or, oh no, it was Welcome to the Jungle, I think. And So he's playing the guitar, Elias is playing his drums. So there's no synchronization whatsoever. Elias and Malachi are doing completely different things. Again, I just had a smile on my face because I'm thinking, man, this is the start right here. This is where it all begins, man. And from that point on, it was just like, we kept moving forward. Went from electronic kit to a acoustic kit, upgraded a couple times. So where it all began was in the garage playing, what we thought was music at the time. That's our origins. So anyway.
I remember flailing around in my high school band, and I'm sure we were awful. We thought we were very serious about it, but I'm sure all of the neighbors
Oh yeah.
we certainly all have those stories.
We've had our fair share of battles with our neighbors. I could go, tell you stories about that too, but we try to keep the peace as much as we can.
Oh, certainly. It's, I guess it comes with the territory. So you guys have been at it for a couple years. You're working on some recordings. Can you share with us where you're recording, and then I'll probably have some more questions after that.
So we've been recording with someone famously known here as Ken Riley. So we've been recording with him over at a studio called Rio Grande Studios. And we've been doing that, I think we started recording about a month ago now. That song is still being worked on, the first song we did. And then our second song is about to be released on Thursday, the 1st.
Malachi, since you're the lead guitar, what is your role in the songwriting?
Well, my dad, he basically lays out the foundation of the song. He comes up with the idea and lyrics. So I'll just jump along and try to figure out some riffs, some ideas that I can play along. So I'll be like, I think this will fit here, or this riff will fit into this song better. And we'll kind of just jam it out and try to feel it out and see if it works, if it sounds good, and just go from there. And then I do all the soloing and main riffs.
What sort of rig are you recording through, and what guitar are you playing right now?
So I primarily play a Gibson Les Paul. Yeah, that's my primary guitar. And I've just been playing through the rig at the studio. I don't use mine here at home. I just record through the studio. So I just bring my guitar and plug in and play.
What are you plugging into?
He plugged me into something. I don't remember what it was.
Was it an amplifier, or was it like just into like a computer?
I think it was an amp. I'm not sure what it was though.
First recording was through the Marshall, right? And then the second time, no, it wasn't.
Because you used the Marshall and I didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Ken's got, endless amounts of amplifiers, different ways of, getting the sound that we're looking for and stuff. We just kind of communicate to him, what we're looking for. He's the wizard at figuring out what to use. I think he just kind of like, oh, well, I know just what to use for this. So he kind of goes in the back and plugs him into, an amp in the back room. He's like, all right, try this, and starts playing. Yeah, it's great. Sounds perfect. So
Malachi, are you using any sort of effects pedals in your signal chain?
So yeah, for my own rig, when I play here, I have a pedal board. I have a classic Ibanez tube screamer, a little tuner, and then another overdrive pedal.
And what amplifier are you using?
I use an Orange Crush 100 watt.
I'm curious about your recording rig, because the tones on the tracks that I heard are tremendous. What I was hearing on the recordings, it felt like you already went on that journey of looking for a sound and you were settled in, and then I find out that you're very young and I'm going, oh my God, this is unreal. Yeah, I just love the tones that you get. I just want to let you know that what you guys are doing with the couple of recordings I heard, when I say that you sound tight, like you guys sound like you've been playing together for decades. The structure of the songs is like, it's just pro level writing. It seems like you guys had a producer in there, really good producer helping you craft these songs, helping you, put everything in the right place. And I talked to John and I find out like, this is all you guys. This is amazing. And, as a player, I kind of start to hear different things, to put in different places, but it's not as much as usual. I find it so like exciting. Can you describe the songwriting process of the first song that you shared with me? I forget what it's called. It didn't have vocals on it when I heard it. But can you share with me
Yeah,
the songwriting process, or maybe, what you guys were all individually thinking going into recording that song?
yeah, the first one was Glimmer Won't Shine is the name of it. And I guess I'll start. So that was actually intended to be our first single release. And it was actually the second song that we wrote and started playing together. Our intention was to put something out there that was a little more kind of rock and upbeat, up tempo. I think we were all very pleased with the musical composition. All we've done up until this point is just, play in the garage with a couple, performances, live performances. So that's up until that point, that's all we've had to work with. That's all we know is just our sound coming out raw from our amps and speakers and stuff. So the experience of going into the studio and actually, laying down, what we've only known to be a live take on this song was an experience, I think, for all of us. We were all pretty pleased with the basic song structure. But, the reason for the change in the release date, we switched the order because the song that's coming out on the first was actually going to be the second release. But the issue was that the vocal takes on that first recording, I'm just not happy with releasing it the way it is right now. So I need to, continue to work those vocals so that they come out the way that I would like them to. And I think probably a lot of bands would say that their vocalist, their singers was probably very picky, not the most picky person in the band. I find that between, my singing and playing, that the vocals are definitely the more challenging of the two. And again, recording in the studio, the first time in the studio, being that song in particular, it's just the range for that song is very challenging for me. So that I want to make sure to do the song justice, I feel like the vocals have to be in a certain place that I'm working on getting. The way that, we've kind of started getting into the songwriting process was Malachi and I kind of rewinding to the days where we would go to open mics. We would play a bunch of covers with the house band. We would kind of get together in the garage and just kind of work through the song. And so working together, we decided, hey, let's start writing music. We would kind of come up with a chord progression. And the way that these two songs went is that I would sit down and just kind of come up with the riff, share it with Malachi and the rest of the band kind of thing. A lot of it consisted of just, myself and Malachi just, playing with those chord progressions, just come up with the rhythm. And this, I share it to, hey, what do you got for this? And then we just fit in the bass and the drums. But anyways, you guys can go ahead and you want to share what that process was like for you.
Like I said before, with this first song, he would play the chords, the main chords, and then I would try to experiment with different riffs, try to write my own, and try to see what fits the best with the chords. And eventually I found a good solid riff that I wanted to incorporate with the song. So that's kind of what I did with the recording.
What about the drummer? I want to hear from the drummer.
All right. Well, I think it's more of just kind of being there and like listening to what they have, what they've already put together, and just kind of putting a solid backing on the song and just kind of playing by ear and figuring out what really sounds good or what will go well with lead and the rhythm. Yeah, that's pretty much how we just go.
Who are some of your favorite bands, and what bands were you listening to when you were learning how to play?
I don't know. It's kind of been all over the place. I really like Dave Grohl. I think Dave Grohl is a really big inspiration for everybody or anybody who plays anything. I also like Neil Peart. I think he's just a really all over the place drummer. He just plays everything. And John Bonham, for sure, another one. And then, those kind of all influenced, I guess. And then just hearing different things and just trying to think about how I kind of sound like that or I can sound better.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. I play guitar. I play bass too, and I kind of prefer playing bass with the band. And so I love playing with different drummers and meeting young drummers that like just have a feel for it. And
Yeah.
just working with them and sort of like teaching them what a pocket is like. How does a shuffle work? How can you push the band, or how can you sit back? But those are some of my favorite bands and drummers that you mentioned for sure. What about the bass man? What was your role in these recordings?
I'd probably come in last out of the group into the formation of these songs. And by the time I came in, these three had had a chance to really work things. And then I was able to come in, and as we would get together and start working on it, I would just first capture the root, the chords, and kind of play along, get the feel for the song. And then I think one of the powerful things that we've done, I'd have some suggestions from John, or we'd all kind of share some suggestions about what might sound good. And from that, then for the bass part, I just kind of work on my own to develop a groove and kind of develop that from what I felt needed to happen in the song. They already had a good foundation to work from, and I needed to, of course, hold the pocket and everything, but also provide a little bit of life to the bass part, which I think was something we all kind of wanted to be added to. And one of the things that's been really cool is Elias and I have a good, strong connection, which really needs to happen in a band. So, good, strong connection between bass and the drums, and that's been just a real joy. Yeah. So,
What's your rig look like? What kind of bass are you playing, and what kind of amp are you playing through?
So right now I'm playing a 5-string Hohner. It's a Steinberger design, the Hohner license. So it's all Steinberger headless bass hardware with solid maple Hohner body. And I'm playing through an Ampeg B4B head with the G60 bottom. So it's a lot of fun to move. It's a beast, but I've had that for many, many years and enjoyed playing through that. I started out my early days. I actually played more jazz kind of stuff, and so I started out with a Ventura hollow body bass, and that was great for jazz, but it doesn't quite lend itself well to rock and roll. So I went to a Fender jazz, and I played that some. But now I usually go to this headless. It's just a lot of fun to play.
Right on. And who would you say are your biggest influences as a bass player?
I would probably have more folks I'm fans of more than I'd say influences. I take influence from lots of different kinds of music, lots of different kinds of bass lines. I'm a big Geddy Lee fan, but it would take me several lifetimes to be able to reach what he does. But I listen to how bass parts fit into music, and I try to just draw inspiration from that.
Right on. What about you, John?
Off the top of my head, obviously Jimi Hendrix. I just really appreciate what he did for the progression of rock music. I mean, going back to my old, high school days, Pantera was my big influence. Dimebag Darrell, man. I mean, that guy pioneered those, riffs in his music and those solos. I mean, there's nobody like him, and Stevie Ray Vaughan. He's probably one that I've started kind of really looking at and studying in the more recent few years here. And I mean, again, he's just been truly influential. Really appreciate what, the work that he did. And, just collectively out there, bands, I mean, Gary Clark Jr., Marcus King, a band called Houndmouth, just going to live performances and seeing that band. Their lead singer, guitar player he's phenomenal with his guitar lines. It's just incredible. So I kind of see myself developing, over the coming years so that what's on a record that we record is going to be different when it sounds live, because I think that when we play live, to allow our playing, our style to, become more live, and we share that, with the live audience. So,
Yeah, very good. What sort of rig are you playing through now, John?
it's just an old Fender Frankenstrat kind of thing. It's got a neck from another Fender with a different body, and I've had that guitar and I started playing that. And then I picked up another Fender Strat. That's, a brand new one that I just love playing. So that's the one I recorded on both the records, or the singles. And I played through a Fender Cyber Twin. I think it's 150 watt. And then I use a compressor pedal between that and an overdrive, MXR overdrive. So basically just clean, dirty. That's the extent of where I'm at right now. I really appreciate the clean tones that Strat puts out, going through a Fender amp with a little compression on it. That bright, clean sound is what I'm after. And, of course it changes over the years. Whether you chase a certain sound and you never find it, or you find it and you can maybe get bored with it. I'm still at the early stages of my playing that, I do know that I have found a really good clean tone that I like. And then the overdrive is also a work in progress. Anyway, that's my rig setup.
I used to have a Cyber Twin. It was my first, pretty big amp. What setting are you using?
Vibrato. Yeah, that's the channel I've got it on.
That was one of my favorite channels. Do you have the 112 smaller version, or do you have the bigger one?
I think it's the 212.
Okay.
The bigger, yeah.
Yeah, the Cyber Twin. That was a very reliable amp. I think I probably played it for well over 10 years. I think I sold it to a friend that needed it more than I did. I was playing bass more in bands, and I was playing through an old Ampeg. It was a 412 combo, and it weighed so much, and guitar and bass sounded amazing through it. And I don't remember the model of it, but I just remembered everything sounded amazing through it. So I'd lug that thing around until it started crapping out. Gosh, yeah, old Ampegs are amazing for sure. And I think I've always really liked the sound of a guitar through a bass rig for some reason. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I would do double duty where I would switch from guitar to bass, and I didn't want to have to bring two rigs, just kind of like being lazy. Where do you guys see yourselves in 2 years as a band?
I guess for me, I can see us, really improving a lot and having a lot of good music out, hopefully. I'm definitely playing a lot of shows. That's something I want to do, is just be constantly playing live. Because right now we're just, kind of have our own little gigs once in a while. I definitely want for us as a whole to be playing a lot more and having a lot of good music out and have a good following for us to be well known. Because for me, definitely in the future, in a couple years, I want to be recording my own stuff. And that's something I plan on doing soon. Try to get my own thing going. So that's it for me.
In 2 years, I'm not really sure. I think it's mainly just going to be just pumping out songs. And I would definitely see us as a bigger, more well-known local band. Definitely a better player. So that's what I think.
All right.
Nice. Yeah, that's well said, man. Right now, we've got a couple singles out. I've got a couple more in progress. Malachi has a couple ideas for original songs. Releasing an EP, we could probably get that done in the next year, which I think would really help us out a lot if we were able to get that out there. And along with the recording, we've already got, quite a few gigs lined up this summer. And, just thinking short term, even just this summer, I think we're going to really see a big improvement in just, how we perform live. My goal is to just, blow up the Albuquerque scene, bring the energy, just figuring out how to deliver a good performance, to, every gig that we are able to take part of. I think we've got a really good start, a good lineup this summer. I'm sure we'll add some more dates, and then looking forward to the next year. I see that doubling, and then by next summer, I really think that we're going to be high functional, band, by that point. I really do. That's my vision. That's my dream. I know for certain that we can all do it. All of us have the know-how, the capability. And like Elias just said, just being a better player. I think that goes for all of us. That's what we're looking to do. So that's what I see.
2 years from now, having even more fun and seeing even more smiles out as we play live. I'm just hoping to continue to expand the number of people who can enjoy what we're doing. This is so much about, first having a good time ourselves, but even more than that, bringing that joy out to groups of people. I mean, music is awesome, and it's kind of a universal language. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, guys. I enjoyed the music that you've shared so far, and I look forward to watching you guys at the next show. And I will say, something came up while I was listening to what you were saying about, plans for the next 2 years. It'll be a set, but it'll be a good opportunity to try and record it. And, whatever way that ends up being might be a good option. Because one thing that I saw in an abundance scouring Instagram for, bands and musicians was pretty low quality performance recordings. The microphone's totally clipped out and garbled. How I came up, that was totally unacceptable. It seems to be the norm. I don't know if it's like just in the excitement of the moment, but I was thinking, oh man, it'd be nice to have like, even if it's a static shot, a great way to capture the audio. That stuff is so easy these days. But I look forward to seeing you guys. I'm very happy that you pulled the trigger and said yes to being a part of the show.
Yeah, Perry, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. And if there's anything we can do to help you out, just let us know.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
So I hope you enjoyed my interview with local Albuquerque band Turquoise Steel as much as I enjoyed doing the interview. It was great to spend some time with the guys and get to know them a little better. I've just really enjoyed all the music that they've shared with me that they're working on in the studio. And it's kind of cool to have that back seat. It's like, I don't know, it's a very special thing. Like, when you think of how many bands spend time in the studio, like, the people that work in the studio get to experience what they're doing, but all of us outsiders, we just get the end product or what they're doing live. So to get to kind of experience the work in progress is very special, and I really appreciate John sharing with me what he did. And I think it was like possibly their first interview as well, which is also very exciting. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show. You can learn more about the HDLI at our website, highdesertluthiery.com. You can listen to more episodes of the podcast on our YouTube channel, High Desert Luthiery Podcast. And once again, I'm Perry from Unga Guitars. If you haven't got yourself a hat, hit me up. Anyway, you can find Unga Guitars Official on Instagram. Thank you for joining me for this episode. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.